They only want white people here.
These are the first group of white South Africans who've been fast-tracked into refugee status. The Trump administration made a big thing about cracking down on immigration and suspending the refugee resettlement program. So questions are being asked, and why has such an exception been made for this group of people?
So ICE is currently kidnapping people, sending them away, taking them away from their families and things like that. Truly a terrifying time. But in the middle of all this, Trump has decided to bring in all of these white refugees from South Africa that claim that their lives were in danger because there was a white genocide. Only here's the thing. There's not. That's not happening.
When I say certain people have the complexion for protection, this is what I mean.
So what's the difference between the South African refugees coming here and everyone else coming here looking for the American dream and a better life? Really, what's the difference? I think it's the color of my eyes.
The more I think about these Afrikaners, the angrier I get. Right now, there is a 19-year-old DACA recipient who has been here since she was 4 years old, has been detained for almost a week. Monday will be a week. He's got her detained, and he's deporting United States citizens. People born in this fucking country. But he's flying white South Africans here on our dollar and paying for them to stay.
Imagine your government telling you it can't afford to help its own homeless veterans, families living paycheck to paycheck, or even kids sleeping in cars, right? But somehow they find the money to fly in wealthy-looking white refugees from halfway across the world. Yes, refugees who ain't fleeing genocide, but whose grandparents once forced apartheid to a certain group of black people in an African country. Well, what are we doing here? Listen up. Guys, this is another episode. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, my name is Presenter Sam. This is the Diaspora View, and this is where we break down the policies, the politics, lies, and systems that impact real people, especially those most overlooked. And in our today's video, I want you guys to buckle up and listen, because we are going to react to a jaw-dropping commentary about how the Trump administration fast-tracked white South Africans as refugees despite freezing the program for everybody else. Yeah, you remember when people were being captured by ICE officers and taken out of America, and of course they were saying that they were not going to take in refugees anymore, but sarcastically they now want to take in white refugees from these white South Afrikaners. Stay with me because we're going to break down everything. But guys, if you're new to this channel, remember that your subscribe will take me somewhere. That's like supporting me, and I appreciate it at a greater level, So guys, consider subscribing, like this video. Tell me what you think in the comments about this video, and then I'll be back with my further analysis.
People with less than $100,000 and that own a red hat. Make sense of this for me. America first, but make sense of this for me. The front half of a senator that's running this country, there's a good joke about Elon being in the back half with a puppet, is currently expediting refugees from South Africa to America with short and long-term housing while you're still poor. Before they helped you, like, anybody with less than 100 grand is poor. You're still poor. I know there's different levels. You're still in the group that is not their friend circle. Probably never will be. Likely will never be. Does it hurt or bother you that this group that's putting America first is now putting South Africans first, who, by the way, got there from where? Not America. They're actually Dutch, French, and German colonists. Make this one make sense to me. I feel like you can't just say, like, they're refugees, they need our help, because if that was the case, is it different because they're white? Just say that then. Just say that. What's that song by YG and Nipsey Hussle again?
When I say certain people have the complexion for protection, this is what I mean. These are the white South African refugees that are coming to the United States after Elon Musk lied and spread misinformation on Twitter, saying that these white South Africans were experiencing genocide by the the political party in charge. Here's the timeline of events. On July 31st, 2023, Elon Musk tweets they are openly pushing for genocide of white people in South Africa. Then he tags the president of South Africa and says, "Why do you say nothing?" So as you can see, Elon Musk has been fueling this fire and spreading this misinformation for fucking years now. Fast forward, Elon Musk spends $300 million getting Donald Trump elected. Donald Trump wins. And the first day in office, January 20th, 2025, when he gets inaugurated, Trump signs an executive order ending the refugee admissions program. An executive order that basically says the United States lacks the ability to absorb a large number of migrants, and in particular, refugees, because of the availability of resources for Americans, essentially declaring that the refugees coming to the United States were competing for resources against Americans. Elon Musk then uses the power of being in Trump's ear all the fucking time and up his ass and turns Trump against South Africa. Even though the claims of white genocide are ruled not real by a South African court, literally 4 days later signs an executive order called Addressing Egregious Actions in the Republic of South Africa, where he cuts off all funding to South Africa. Then he fast-tracks white South African citizenship while rejecting all other refugees. Here's where the story gets better. Here's where I say that they had the complexion for protection, because these white South Africans are descendants of mainly Dutch and French colonial settlers who first came to South Africa more than 300 years ago. They were at the heart of the apartheid government that systematically oppressed non-whites. Yeah, they're the ones who get to come here on an air-conditioned plane, walking through the airport, welcome to the United States, given flags for a fucking photo op. Meanwhile, the Afghan refugees who helped the U.S. military during the U.S. military operations in Afghanistan are in dangerous limbo after the Trump administration ordered a pause on the refugee resettlement program. Meanwhile, this is how black Haitian immigrants are welcomed to the United States. Meanwhile, other refugee populations that are non-white, this is how they come to the United States. I'm not saying that motherfuckers gotta look like their story or look like they struggled, but there's a clear differentiation between people who have valid concerns, valid refugee claims, and seeking asylum versus these motherfuckers that are coming in shorts and look like they're well-fed and look like they have good clothes on their fucking backs. If you really want to deconstruct all the fucking hypocrisy all the fucking way, why is it that the reason that the U.S. refugee resettlement program was scrapped was because the refugees were competing for resources against Americans, yet the literal website that's helping them resettle into the United States is openly saying that these white South Africans are going to receive financial assistance, a one-time federal grant, $1,275 per person, cash assistance, supplemental nutrition assistance program, yeah, food assistance, food stamps, housing assistance, medical assistance, work and employment support. And to top it all off, they won't have to even prove that they were being persecuted. The complexion for motherfucking protection.
They only want white people here. Because when we think about refugees who need immediate resettlement, expedited screenings, we usually think about people who are fleeing extreme violence, persecution, famine, war, in places like South Sudan, Myanmar, the Congo, not white Afrikaners. See that chartered plane the Trump administration is sending? It's not going to collect refugees that have been sitting in resettlement camps for years, fully vetted, waiting to come to the United States to escape violence. No, it's going to South Africa to collect white people who claim they're being discriminated against. Why would they be getting discriminated against? Probably because they spent generations instituting legalized forms of racial segregation and discrimination called apartheid, aka Stephen Miller's wet dream. See, while the rest of the world after World War II saw that maybe racial discrimination not such a hot idea and favored more policies of integration and away from colonization, Afrikaners doubled down on that shit and instituted apartheid. Although it ended over 30 years ago, the social and economic legacies of apartheid continue today. South Africa is the most unequal country in the entire world, according to the World Bank, with white South Africans earning over 12 times what black South Africans do. But don't worry, we're going to make sure that the white Afrikaners who instituted generations of discrimination and segregation against black people get everything they need to get started here in the United States in their new life.
So let me get this straight. A bunch of South African YTT farmers have been granted refugee status and imported to the United States under the auspices of President Elon Blobfish Musk and Vice President Humpty Dumpty McAsscrack, the vapid bag of dog farts. None of them have been vetted. It's pissed off the Episcopal Church so much that they're not going to participate in refugee relocation.
But Vice President Humpty Dumpty McFuckstick says it's not about race, even though all of them are YTT. Right? Okay, got it. I mean, shouldn't those colonizers have been just deported back to Holland? They're not native to this country. I was just wondering. Maybe El Salvador would have. And then at the same time, we're not accepting people on refugee status from countries that are at war. Okay. I mean, what in the raisins and the potato salad moment is that? That makes no sense.
The more I think about these Afrikaners, the angrier I get. Right now, there is a 19-year-old DACA recipient who has been here since she was 4 years old, has been detained for almost a week. Monday will be a week. He's got her detained, and he's deporting United States citizens. People born in this fucking country. But he's flying white South Africans here on our dollar and paying for them to stay. He has a 19-year-old DACA recipient in custody, deporting United States citizens, firing over 300,000 Americans, coming up almost 83,000 veterans he's firing. In the next budget, gets rid of almost $700 billion in Medicaid. And he's purposely going out of his way to go to South Africa, use whatever airplane they're going to use, probably fucking Air Force One, or something bigger, with our money, and put these people up in houses across the country.
The population in South Africa is 90% black, but black people in South Africa only own 4% of privately owned land in the entire country. But somehow Trump is convinced that these 59 white South African refugees deserve to be housed and fed on the taxpayer dollar in the United States because they were being discriminated against in their home country. It makes me so fucking sick to see that in the same week that a 16-year-old girl had her face slammed into the concrete by ICE because she was brought here as a minor into the United States by her parents, that our taxpayer dollars are simultaneously being spent on an expedited refugee process for white people in South Africa, where they only make up 10% of the population, but they own 96% of the fucking land. Are you kidding me? And their justification is that they believe that white people are being genocided in South Africa. So all of a sudden they have a problem with genocide. Meanwhile, the United States is literally funding a genocide in the West Bank. And for the record, that's not even happening in South Africa. It's been disproven and debunked multiple times. And it's just Elon Musk spreading right-wing bullshit, white supremacist bullshit, as usual. That's all this is. It's just white supremacist bullshit all over again. I'm so tired.
Now, good people, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing great. And this specific group of South Africans have just been brought in the United States. Fast-tracked refugee status, financial aid, housing, etc., etc. Now, listen up here. Didn't Trump literally shut down the refugee program? Yes, he did. But not for these folks. Why? Because maybe they're palm-colored. Because someone whispered genocide in his ear without fact-checking. Y'all, this is not a refugee policy. Listen up. This is racial preference policy. The white genocide lie and the Elon Musk's influence, like Elon Musk spread that lie and had Trump's ear, pushed it on South Africa rhetoric. The tech bro turned a propaganda like the tech would just turn into a propaganda machine. And then if this is true, it is just terrifying because the guy is running X, formerly Twitter, and then shaping refugee policy based on debunked conspiracies, and people still can't trust the same system. You see, refugees are getting financial support versus homeless Americans. Like, they're getting federal grants, food stamps, housing, SNAP, but American veterans are homeless, literally homeless. And this is why it hits hard. You just shut the door on Haitian refugees, Afghan allies who risk their lives for American troops, and even the DSCA kids, but open it wide for folks who own 96% of the land in South Africa. And they get benefits of what the American citizens can't even access. This is not about resources. It's about who gets seen as worthy, like who is worthy of everything that is supposed to happen in in America, like who is worthy to get these privileges. Guys, there is hypocrisy and backlash from Trump's own base, and even Trump supporters confused. They thought it was America first. Right? This is what happens when politics are built on fear and lies. You promise to protect citizens, then bend backward to help white foreigners. The people who voted for this are realizing they were sold racism and not solutions. So guys, as I come to the end of this video here, let us be real. The refugee system is broken, not because it's overwhelmed, but because it's biased. If your skin is not the right color, you're in danger. If not, you're a threat. That's the message this sends. Meanwhile, American-owned communities suffer. Homelessness is at all-time high. Veterans who serve the country sleep under bridges. DACA recipients who have been in America since they were toddlers are detained. Black and brown families fight every day for basic dignity, while the government opens the door wide to a group whose privilege has been baked into every layer of society, even in South Africa. Misinformation matters, and who spreads it matters even more. When Elon Musk tweets nonsense about the white genocide, it becomes US policy. When Trump acts on it, people suffer. And when we stay silent, we enable it. So guys, if you think immigration should be fair, if you believe American resources should go to actual citizens in need before wealth outsiders, and if you're tired of double standards, then it's time to speak up. Like, just speak. Share this video, demand for accountability. If you think this video was insightful and educative, kindly consider subscribing, hit that like button, tell me what you think in the comments, turn on post notifications, because every day I post new videos like this and I'd like you to be the very first person to watch my videos. This is the Diaspora Review. I've been your presenter for today, Bemu. I hope to see you in my next video. Peace out.